Hi, I'm so excited about our topic today. My name is Mindy Rouser, and I have been a massage practitioner, medical massage practitioner, for almost 20 years. I love working with women, a lot of women who end up being moms or grandmas or caregivers in some capacity. And we talk about stress, and we talk about parenting, and we talk about life. And basically, how to just how do we make things better? How do we share tips and tricks? And over the years, especially as I started to incorporate essential oils into my life as a mother and into my practice and make it my full-time job, I was amazed at so many of the things that I didn't know could help us in our backpack, on our desk, in our home, to help with the everyday trials of life. So today we're talking about neurodivergency and just how can essential oils help us as parents and also our children get our power back. I love to say it like that because everyone is different. Everyone's body chemistry, everyone's neuroplasticity, everyone, the way that their brain works, and just the way that their nervous system is organized. So, regardless of whether or not you are here or here on a spectrum of how you navigate life, I am so glad that you joined us just for a few minutes so I could share with you what hundreds and hundreds of parents and my whole community of essential oil enthusiasts have learned and what the science behind it has backed to help you have a calmer day. At the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. How do I maneuver this so that more people are happy and probably sleep better at the end of the day? So, I want to cover just a couple topics today and just dive in, kind of touch the surface of how does something just a little plant essence how does it change how we think or maybe how we act. We have a lot of different blends, we have a lot of single oils, but I just want to kind of peel back the layer, or the curtain a little bit and say, how do essential oils work with our brain and how do they change how we feel, our emotions, and even our brain chemistry a little bit. So, again, as a medical massage practitioner, I wanted to heal the world. I wanted w- people to come in with a, pulled muscle or a not dislocated joint, but, anything that they were dealing with and know that I would be the expert to help them fix it and figure it out until we work on it until we figured it out. And over the years, what I found was especially my mom clients, my women clients, is that sometimes we couldn't figure out why their body was hurting or what was causing this restlessness or why was their mind racing, which caused disruption in their sleep, which caused all kind of body problems. And as we kept going back and kind of peeling the onion, peeling the layer after layer, it really came down to people are stressed out. We're stressed out for all of the reasons. And when I started really addressing stress, even just for a few minutes or then throughout my treatment sessions, and we would bring in different things to affect your emotional center and your olfactory system and your brain chemistry. So even you could just breathe deeper, get more oxygen into your system and let your nervous system rewind even just for 60 or 90 minutes. We found profound change. And that was really exciting for me to say, if we trust our bodies and give it what it needs from a brain level, and maybe we'll even touch on a gut a little bit today, will our bodies and our minds in this amazing machine that they are help facilitate the change that we're looking for down the road? And so many times the answer was yes. So let's dive into it a little bit. Um, one of the things dealing with children, being a mom, being tired and a mom, but also me, myself personally, as a foster parent. We went through the foster parenting certification in 3 different states, and we were a foster parent from start to finish for almost 4 or 5 years. And so I was now dealing with children that were in my home that I didn't have that understanding of what was happening like I did with my own children. And what I found when I started introducing essential oils to them is initially it gave us something to bond about, especially the teenagers, but also it gave them their power back. And I was really fascinated to see what different children at different stages were drawn to. And I started to do research on what works best. I kind of wanted a prescription. And that's not always how it works, is it? Every child is different. But when we talk about the chemistry of pure essential oils and their chemical makeups, that I'm just going to explain it to you really quickly. That some essential oils are calming on the nervous system. And that chemical combination that makes it smell a certain way, let's just say lavender, for example. Lavender is very calming. It's in the family like Roman chamomile or vetiver, that when you smell that smell in your olfactory system and in your body, there's a receptor site that only is the right size for those particular chemical constitutes. And when it it like launches and grabs the hold and says, I know what that is. It's for my receptor site. It tells your brain to relax or to calm down, or sometimes even just to breathe deeply, breathe deeper. And other oils are more excitable oils. Think about a citrus oil or cutting an orange and that citrus smell that gets on your hands and you breathe it in and it feels invigorating and it kind of lightens your mood. Well, it's not just kind of lightening your mood. Those are different receptor sites separate from the relaxing and calming that are like the exciter receptor sites. So it really does make a difference which oil you use and how you get familiar with what you need or your child or your family needs at what time. But it also is a little bit of experimentation because, like I said, every child and every brain is wired differently. So, if we can help you with just the foundation of here's where we start to look, here's where we start to work with ourselves and our kids, we have this we find a pattern and we find a path that works for us. So let me tell you a quick story. I'm going to tell you a couple stories. The first one involves some children that came into my home, and touching on that teenager just combativeness, right? We can just use that as kind of a template for any child that's not doing exactly what we want them to do, uh, or at the time we need them to do it. Let's say that. Well, what I found was your sense of smell, and I knew this, is closely most closest associated to your emotional center, your limbic system. So when you breathe it, imagine breathing flowers in, or like roses, or your favorite flower when you're walking through a garden or the flower store. You remember like breathing it in and going like, "That makes me feel a certain way." It usually makes me feel good. Well, some children have sensitivities to real potent smells. Others are really drawn to their favorite scent. And other ones, it depends on the day, the month, the age, and the circumstance. So we have a line called the emotional therapy line. And when I was just kind of at my wits' end, I remember pulling them out when nothing else was working with my team and saying, I really didn't feel good this morning. I just didn't feel like myself. I really loved this oil. I would like, do you want to smell it? And usually, when mom wants to do something, the kid doesn't really want to. But in this case, somehow we worked it out. Um, and she had a choice of everything from things called passion that bring in more passion in your life, cheer, um, motivate, forgive, not courage, peace, and console. And they're all formulated with the particular oils that have been studied for thousands of years. And they really work for their name. And she was drawn to cheer and forgive. And I love forgive because in clinical studies, forgive was tested to work on any issue people were trying to find a solution for. So cheer makes you happy, and peace makes you calmer, and console helps when you're having sad feelings. But forgive, interestingly enough, no matter what you're feeling, it helps with them. It helps get you into that mood or get you out of that mood. Essential oils are adaptogens. They work on your brain chemistry. They're the only Eastern medicine, I'm using those in quotes, I'm not a doctor, um, plant-based health that you can use aromatically just by breathing it in, and it has a profound effect. Topically, topically where it hurts or where you want to put it on your pulse points or over your heart, or internally if you're working on something in your digestive tract. And I don't think we're going to have enough time today to talk about how gut affects everything. But if you've been in this space for a while, you may have heard of that, or you may be well down that pathway of learning. And we have a lot of things that can interact, can help, can balance the gut brain connection. So I love the emotional therapy system, not just because it connected me to my teen, but it empowered them to say, I have control or potentially have control of my feelings. If I'm feeling sad or dysregulated, I can use this in the way that it's directed or that we're directed to use it. And I can feel that change and I can put that change in my pocket. Right. So I'm not against pharmaceuticals. No, no, but no one here in my realm is, well, we want to partner with Western medicine and use all of the tools when we need them and what's best suited for our family at the time. Me, myself, am holistically oriented. And so if there's a choice that is natural, I'm going to try that first. If it's cheaper and safer and right in my pocket, I'm going to try it first. But it empowered my team to say, I have control. And that was what we needed in that moment. How many times as parents, or even remember ourselves as kids or as an adults that say, like, I just feel like I need my power back. So again, we're all different. A different oil is going to be used for different people in different times, but we're here to help kind of lay that groundwork and answer questions so that until you feel comfortable and ready, it is really easy. You really can't go wrong, but I kind of like the fast track. So that leads me into another story. When I first started my essential oil journey, I was a little bit naive, but really excited. And I remember being at a fair where I had a booth and I was just sharing what I knew with people that were walking by. And the lady next to me was selling soap. And she said, oh my goodness, I love Intune. There was 2 blends, one called the Peaceful Child blend that we make, and I have a recipe here. We'll have it, hopefully we'll have it posted here on the page somewhere. If not, you can always contact me and ask for it. It's called the Peaceful Child blend, and it is a combination of about 6 different oils. Intune helps you focus, and Peaceful Child blend, the way that this mother described it was that it helped organize her child's nervous system for one, but it also unlocked his um, organization. Did I say that right? His nervous system seemed more organized and able to walk without tripping. He was able to run without falling down. Things seemed like they were falling into place when she used this blend aromatically and topically so that it got into his bloodstream. She said within just a few days, his speech was unlocked, where before that, he'd been working with a speech pathologist all his life because the words wouldn't come out. They weren't organized enough to come out of his mouth, smart enough to get them in there, then frustrated because they wouldn't come out. And just by using this regularly, it unlocked his speech. This was my first story of something that I consider to be miraculous at the time. Um, and I just could not, I just couldn't, I was just writing it down. I just thought, oh my gosh, this lady's testimony is so amazing. Why isn't she telling the world? But her hands were full with her household full of children. And she was just very grateful someone had introduced her so that she could take it down the path that her family needed. So I love doing workshops where we put together the Peaceful Child blend and we use that and see if that combination of oils is right for certain families, for certain children. And and another story along the same lines with that Peaceful Child blend and a combination of Intune was a mom whose child was neurodivergent and he was very busy. There was a loud, he was loved to be loud. There was a lot of velocity, if that's the word, in the house. A lot of busyness, a lot of running, just a lot of chaos is how she described it. And one of my coworkers brought over the Peaceful Child blend. They put it on his spine and on the bottom of his feet, just breathed it in. And I believe she put lavender in the diffuser. And as they were just talking about essential oils and stuff, all of a sudden the mom was like, "Oh my God, like where's my son? Like he's missing. Like he's not here." It was not just this tornado running through. And it took them just a minute or two like to look for him to find him. And they found him behind the couch, reading, sitting down, like reading a book. And the mom just burst into tears and was like, I've never seen this before. Like we force him to read or we read with him, but I've never seen him take the initiative to sit down and read. And that was the beginning of another beautiful partnership with how essential oils could help their families. So, whether it's a morning routine or a focus routine or a bedtime routine or just trying to kind of get a hold of our of what works for us and our children. And I know I keep bouncing back and forth between those two topics, but again, going back to if you're a parent and your full-time job, parenting is a full-time job, is trying to figure out things that don't always line up the way that society says they're supposed to. You may be reactive a lot, or you may be waiting for that phone call from the school. It's just our nervous system, for a lot of reasons, is elevated. And when that happens, our body produces cortisol. And that can do a lot of things. We cannot be thinking as straight as we want to. It could have physical effects on us, but it also really revs the engine of our bodies because our bodies is trying to counteract all that cortisol with insulin, and we're shooting that insulin pump because our nervous system is having to react. So that's a really simple explanation for why we feel so tired. So one of my jobs is to listen to moms and to really take care of the parents so that they can do a full-time job the best they possibly can. And I'm going to just wrap up because we're running out of time, and mention the sleep aspect. I really want to go into gut, but we're just going to stop with sleep today. Um, when you sleep and you get good, deep, restful sleep, everything gets replenished. We found them about 10 years ago now. It used to be breaking news that our brain has its own lymphatic system that cleanses the brain and removes gunk and toxins and buildup. But it only happens while we're sleeping. And if we don't get that good, restful, deep REM sleep, it can't do its job. So, do you ever like feel like sluggish and just like clogged up and just like not functioning optimally? I always go back to how are you sleeping? So if we can use different techniques, I of course use massage and manual techniques along with simple essential oils, but also teach my clients and send them home with a routine that is really simple and really easy to form a habit so that you have little rituals before bedtime and during bedtime for yourself and anyone else that might wake up in the middle of the night so that everyone can get the best possible sleep that they can. That could be a diffuser with those calming oils going really simply for you or for the whole family. That can be something with we have a beautiful sleep stick now that has valerian root in it that works with it does. Valerian root itself really helps with anxious feelings and even depressive feelings, but really good in a combination for deep sleep. And then we also have something that you can take internally that also helps to regulate your nervous system, calm things down for the night, and help you sleep without having effects in the morning. So, sleep, you can tell, is one of my big passions, and also giving parents and children their power back through pure plant based medicine, essential oils. My name is Mindy Rouser. If I forgot to mention that in the beginning, I have a company called Essential Ninja, and we are really passionate for the last 12 years specifically on answering people's questions, on helping with education. So this becomes something that isn't scary, that isn't confusing, that people can start with and feel comfortable experimenting and becoming your own wellness advocate for yourself and your family. It's extremely powerful. It's extremely power giving, giving you back your power. And as a parent, I think that is the best asset and tool that I can give you. So thanks for listening. And I hope that we meet in person and I can answer your specific questions anytime. Thank you.